Greetings, this is Reverend Yue McCormick of True Vow Temple. In this presentation, I will be talking about the kanjo, or invocation, that is used in the morning and evening devotional practice and other services of Nichiren Buddhism. The invocation that we use in our celebration and practice of the Lotus Sutra is very close to that used in Dharma, Nichiren Shu Service Book, published by the Nichiren Buddhist International Center in 2007. This was itself based on the invocation that had been used by the Nichiren Order of North America for many decades. The invocation begins, "Honor be to the great mandala, the perfect circle of all honorable ones, revealed by our founder Nichiren Shonin." The Sanskrit term mandala can be translated as circle. A mandala is understood to be a circle of blessings. In Buddhism, it is a diagram or painting used to focus the mind and express the ultimate truth. Originally, the mandalas were platforms into which the initiate and the initiator would enter. In China, such platforms were not used, and the mandala became a painting to gaze upon, though the practitioner is still supposed to enter into them through contemplative union with the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and guardian deities represented in them. In other words, the practitioner enters into an actual spiritual communion with the perfect circle of all honorable ones, the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, guardians, and all other beings, embraced within the circle of blessings in the moment of practice. The Great Mandala in Nichiren Buddhism refers to the Great Mandala of invoking the 10 realms, which is the proper title of the calligraphic mandala form of the focus of devotion of the original gate inscribed by Nichiren Shonin. He described it in his Kanjin Hanzan Sho, on the contemplation of the mind in the focus of devotion, as a depiction of the scene during the assembly in space in the original gate of the Lotus Sutra, wherein the eternal Shakyamuni Buddha transmits the wonderful Dharma to all sentient beings, especially the Bodhisattvas appearing from underground. There are several ways to depict this focus of devotion in concrete form. One, as a daimoku of the Lotus Sutra, Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. 2, as a statue of the eternal Shakyamuni Buddha. 3, as a great mandala of invoking the 10 realms. 4, as the daimoku accompanied by Shakyamuni Buddha and many treasures Buddha. Or 5, as Shakyamuni Buddha accompanied by the 4 leaders of the Bodhisattvas appearing from underground. In essence, however, these are one. They are all representing the transmission of the wonderful Dharma by the eternal Shakyamuni Buddha, as revealed in the original gate of the Lotus Sutra. All of them are ways of expressing to us that we are in the presence of and entering into the perfect circle of all honorable ones. Next, we honor the eternal Shakyamuni Buddha. Honor be to the eternal Buddha Shakyamuni, our original teacher who attained awakening in the remotest past. The words used here are taken from the Honman Sanki, the threefold refuge of the original gate, which is sometimes used in Nichiren Shu services to express our particular understanding of the 3 treasures. In Honman Sanki, it is specifically the eternal Shakyamuni Buddha who is honored as the Buddha, the Lotus Sutra that is honored as the fullest expression of the Dharma, and Nichiren Shonin who is honored as the preeminent representative of the Sangha, as the founder of our lineage. Next, we honor the wonderful Dharma, as expressed in the Lotus Sutra. Honor be to the Sutra, the lotus flower of the wonderful Dharma, the teaching of equality, the great wisdom, the one vehicle. Next, we honor the founder of our school of Buddhism, Nichiren Shonin, as the leader of the Sangha in the latter age. Honor be to our founder, the great Bodhisattva Nichiren Shonin, dispatched by our original Buddha. Next, we honor Nichiji Shonin, who lived from 1250 to 1305. Nichiji was one of Nichiren Shonin's 6 major disciples. Honor be to Renge Ajari Nichiji Shonin, the first overseas missionary. Nichiji was the son of a samurai. He became a novice at Jisoji Temple, where Nikko met Nichiren Shonin. That is also the temple where Nichiren Shonin did his research in preparation for writing the Rishohan Kokuran. In 1270, Nichiji met Nikko and became his disciple. Nikko then took Nichiji to see Nichiren Shonin in Kamakura and allowed him to become Nichiren Shonin's direct disciple. In 1280, he founded a practice hall in Mimatsu, his hometown. This would later become the Renneiji Temple. After Nichiren Shonin's death, he decided to go overseas to fulfill his master's dream of restoring the true teaching of the Buddha to China and India. On October 13, 1294, he attended Nichiren Shonin's memorial service at Kuanji for the last time. On January 1, 1295, he began his journey to China. His Gohonzon and other items belonging to him were discovered by a tourist in Hebei province of northern China in 1936. He had founded a temple there named Lihua Temple, or Rikaiji. These items were finally donated to Kuanji Temple at Mount Manobu in 1987. Nichiji did not found a lineage, but he is considered the patron saint of foreign missionaries by the Nichiren Shu. This is why he is specifically named in the invocation used in North America. Next, we honor all the heavenly gods and benevolent deities. Honor be to the heavenly gods and benevolent deities who protect the practitioner of the one vehicle. This refers to the various godlike or angelic beings who, in Buddhism, are all believed to uphold the Dharma and protect its practitioners. Nichiren Shonin wrote in his letter Toki Nyudo Dono Gohenji, Chibyosho, a response to lay priest Lord Toki, treatise on healing sickness. Quote, "The Dharma nature originally existing in our mind appears as the guardian deities of the Lotus Sutra, such as Brahma, Heavenly King, and Indra, whereas the fundamental ignorance innate in us becomes King Mara of the sixth heaven." End quote. In Nichiren Buddhism, we can view these as actual beings, but based on Nichiren Shonin's writings, we can also understand them as functions of the Dharma nature within our minds, or as ways of personifying the functioning of the Dharma within all aspects of life. The invocation concludes with, "May all you venerable ones come to this consecrated place out of your compassion toward us, see us with the light of your wisdom, and accept our offering of the savor of the Dharma." All the venerable ones are invited to be present. Our practice is not a practice that we ever do alone. It is a practice that is always done as the enactment of the efforts of all awakened and awakening beings. They are always present to us, in and through our practice, and our practice is always an offering of gratitude to them. Now I would like to share the invocation as it is found in the Shutei Nichiren Shu Hoyoshiki, the standard Nichiren Shu ceremonies and protocols. This is meant to be a standard example for Nichiren Shu temples to adapt as needed. With utmost respect, I humbly offer my prayers. Honor be to the great mandala of the most venerable one, the perfect circle having never been revealed before. This is a little different than the one we use in the celebration and practice of the Lotus Sutra, but in essence it is the same thing. The most venerable one, or this could be translated as focus of devotion, is the eternal Shakyamuni Buddha, who is transmitting to us the wonderful Dharma. The great mandala, our perfect circle, is comprised of all the venerable ones assembled before him to receive the wonderful Dharma, uphold it, and protect its practitioners. Before Nichiren Shonin described the focus of devotion for the latter age of the Dharma in terms of the scene of the eternal Buddha's transmission of the wonderful Dharma, and inscribed the first great mandala of invoking the 10 realms on July 8, 1273, no one else had depicted this scene in such a way to use as a focus of devotion for Buddhist practice. That is why Nichiren Shonin felt that it had not been revealed before. Honor be to Shakyamuni Buddha, the original master and Lord Teacher, the great benefactor who attained Buddhahood in the remotest past. Here, the eternal Shakyamuni Buddha is honored, but as we shall see, the invocation is not going to use the format of the Honmon Sanki. Instead, it will name those present at the assembly in space. Honor be to many treasures the great well gone of the emerging proof of the truth of the Sutra, the lotus flower of the wonderful Dharma. Here, many treasures Buddha is named. He is given the title Great Well Gone, which is a translation of the Sanskrit word Sagata. Well Gone, or Great Well Gone, is one of the 10 honorable titles of a Buddha. The others are Tathagata, which can mean one thus come or one thus gone, implying coming from or going to the realm of truth. Arhat, which means worthy one, and it is also a title given to voice hearers who are completely liberated from the 6 lower realms. 3. Complete and perfect Buddha. 4. Perfect in knowledge and conduct. 5. Well gone. 6. One who understands the world. 7. Unsurpassed. 8. Trainer of people. 9. Teacher of gods and men. And 10. The world-honored one. The part in parentheses is not in the actual text, but should be understood. In chapter 12 of the Lotus Sutra, the stupa of many treasures emerges from out of the earth, and the voice of many treasures Buddha is heard testifying, "Excellent, excellent, world-honored Shakyamuni, for the sake of the great assembly, you are able to expound the wondrous Dharma Flower Sutra of universal great wisdom, a teaching that instructs bodhisattvas and that the Buddhas protect and keep in mind. So it is, all that the world-honored Shakyamuni expounds is the truth." Honor be to the Buddhas of the worlds of the 10 directions, in the past, present, and future, the emanation bodies of the eternal Shakyamuni Buddha. Here, the Buddhas who are the emanation bodies of Shakyamuni Buddha are honored. These are the Buddhas who are shown to have been emanated throughout the worlds of the 10 directions by Shakyamuni Buddha. Shakyamuni Buddha recalls them in chapter 12 of the Lotus Sutra, so that he can open the stupa of treasures and reveal the relic body of many treasures Buddha. In Nichiren Shu, Shakyamuni Buddha, many treasures Buddha, and the emanation Buddhas of the 10 directions are referred to as the 3 Buddhas, and especially honored as the Buddhas present during the assembly in space in the Lotus Sutra. Honor be to superior practice, limitless practice, pure practice, and steadily established practice, and the other Mahasattvas who appeared from underground to teach others the original gate. Here the Bodhisattvas who appeared from underground and their 4 leaders who appeared in chapter 15 of the Lotus Sutra are honored. It is these Bodhisattvas who are considered the original disciples of the original Buddha, that is to say, the eternal Shakyamuni Buddha. In chapter 21, the eternal Buddha gives the specific transmission to propagate the Lotus Sutra in the world during the latter age of the Dharma to these Bodhisattvas. This is understood in Nichiren Shu to mean that it is they who have been entrusted to spread the Odaimoku practice and the teachings hidden in the depths of the original gate of the Lotus Sutra in this world at this time. Nichiren Shonin humbly wrote that though he might not be superior practice bodhisattva, he has nevertheless appeared as a forerunner who is doing the work of that bodhisattva. For this reason, Nichiren Shu considers Nichiren Shonin the appearance in this world of that bodhisattva. Honor be to Manjushri, Universal Sage, Maitreya, Medicine King, World Voice Perceiver, and the other beings of great potentiality who came from other places to teach others the Trace Gate. Here, the other famous bodhisattvas who appear in the Lotus Sutra are honored. In chapter 22 of the Lotus Sutra, they and the rest of the assembly are given the general transmission to teach the Trace Gate of the Lotus Sutra, and other provisional teachings, especially during the former and middle ages of the Dharma, to prepare the way for the sowing of the seed of Buddhahood, that is, the Odaimoku practice, during the latter age of the Dharma. Honor be to Shariputra, Modgalyayana, Mahakashyapa, Ananda, and others. All these great voice-hearers were newly assured of attaining Buddhahood. Here, the major voice-hearer disciples of Shakyamuni Buddha, who received assurance of attaining Buddhahood in the Trace Gate of the Lotus Sutra, are honored. Honor be to the heavenly gods and benevolent deities of those who uphold the one vehicle. Here, the guardian deities such as Brahma, Indra, the gods of the sun, moon, and stars, and other beings are honored. Overall, the 3 treasures reside eternally within the Lotus Sutra. Here, it is affirmed that the 3 treasures of Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha forever reside within the Lotus Sutra, and are therefore present to us whenever and wherever we uphold the Lotus Sutra and put it into practice. Especially our founder, the great leader of those of us who live in the declining latter age of the Dharma, we honor Nichiren, the great bodhisattva. Here, the founder of Nichiren Buddhism, Nichiren Shonin, is honored. He may be referred to as the great Bodhisattva or as Daishonin, the great sage. The 6 major disciples, the mid-generation senior disciples, the 9 senior monks in Nichido, and others, the esteemed predecessors and sages of this school who have observed the Dharma down through the generations. Here, all 6 major disciples of Nichiren Shonin are honored, as well as their disciples who are the mid-generation senior disciples, and especially the 9 senior disciples of Nichido, who are especially active in propagating the teachings, as well as all the other lineage holders who have done so much to preserve this teaching and practice. Including Shonin, the founder of this temple, and the succeeding head ministers of this temple. Here, the founder and successors of the temple where the invocation is being recited are honored. May all of you venerable ones come to this place of awakening out of your compassion toward us, see us with the light of your wisdom, and accept our offering of the savor of the Dharma. Here the ending is the same as the one that is used in our practice book. I now bring this talk to a close. I look forward to your questions and comments. May the merits of this talk on the Dharma extend universally to all, so that we and all living beings together accomplish the Buddha way.